from Mallard Creek High School. Time for our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. First round of the NCHSAA 4A playoffs. Lake Norman here to face the Mavericks. With Coach Brian Hales, I'm Darren Vaught. Coach, playoff time. I heard you say to the coaches down on the field earlier that this was one of the few times this season where today you missed it a little bit.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, you know, there's really 3 Christmas days for a football coach. It's actual December 25th. Yeah. It's August 1st, which is the first day of practice, and then it's the first playoff game. So just the energy, the excitement, everything's brand new. Everything starts over for them tonight. And, man, what a great game to start it off.
No doubt, 13-20 seeds. The matchup here in the first round, Mallard Creek and Lake Norman. The winner will move on to next week play the winner of the 4-seed Watauga and number 29 Ragsdale. Look, I think it can be expected a lot of the times for these first-round matchups to often you'll see some pretty lopsided games. That's not the vibe here at Mallard Creek today. Lake Norman thinks they've got a chance. Mallard Creek, of course, thinks they've got a chance to continue their winning ways in this first-round matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, you have 2 teams coming in that both finished up runner-up in their conference, but the teams they finished runner-up to, Huff and Mooresville, you know, 2 real high-quality football teams. So I think the level of play tonight should be great with both of these teams.
No doubt. 7-3 Lake Norman at 8-2 Mallard Creek. It's the first round of the state playoffs on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week when we return. First round of the state playoffs here on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. Lake Norman at Mallard Creek. Lake Norman won the coin toss and then deferred, so Mallard Creek will receive the opening kick to begin this game. Coach, the Mallard Creek team that we saw on this package of games early in the season at the Turf Kings Southeast Invitational, great comeback victory over Prince Ave. It's been a good season for them since then. They like to run it. What else about their identity is important for the viewer?
Well, you know, the thing about Creek, and it's a traditional thing with them, is they're going to play great defense. They got a great group of kids that can really fly to the ball. You know, they've got some pretty good size up front, but even their defensive line guys run so well, and it's always been a hallmark of a Mallard Creek team that you come in here, that you're going to have your work cut out for you trying to move the ball.
Always a tough test. Mallard Creek, they love this time of year. But Coach Jonathan Oliphant, his staff, and Lake Norman has become pretty accustomed to making it to this point in the season and feeling good about where you're sitting as well.
Absolutely. This is a position, and really so much respect to Coach Tinsley for what he's done. Coming to this situation he did, take it over for a guy like Mike Palmieri that, really, when you look at him, one of the top 2 or 3 coaches that's ever come through Mecklenburg County. So, having to come in and, a lot of people are still missing Coach P and, really win this community over the way he has and, the strides that his program has made. It's really, he's done such a tremendous job up here.
So Lake Norman will kick it off. Mallard Creek sends back Christian Dixon, the deep man, it looks like. No, not quite. Elijah Thompson behind him. They've got a number of guys who can be dangerous in this kick return game.
And I think one of the things with that you're going to see a lot with their offense is they're going to have a lot of people with their hands on the ball tonight.
Teed up on the hash. There's the kickoff. And now Mallard Creek on the return gets Nasor Ashinafi. Near the 30, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Mavericks.
So the first thing I think is going to be which quarterback's going to go out there for Mallard Creek. They'll play 3 quarterbacks here tonight. 3 uniquely different skill sets, but they all have some commonality as well.
Perry Justice, the senior, listed as an athlete, looks to be the first in that role.
Got Caleb Knight out there now. Oh, it looks like Caleb's going to be the guy.
And Caleb Knight in the backfield to receive the snap. Justice was the man in motion. Knight keeps it himself, breaks through off tackle left side, and is brought down after a gain of about 7. Will Minter, the senior linebacker for Lake Norman, makes the tackle.
Yeah, with Caleb back there, you're probably not going to see the ball in the air very much, but, you're talking about a kid who's run for over 700 yards. He scored about 10 touchdowns this year, so very effective athlete.
2nd down. And it's another run for Mallard Creek. Curtis Clark around the corner,
oh, boy.
And there he goes.
What a start. Uh-oh.
There's
we got a flag.
A flag down at midfield might negate what would otherwise be a 63-yard touchdown score.
And that's the thing with Mallard Creek, that they're going to run the ball so effectively, but they've just got so much team speed. If they're going to catch an edge or catch a seam, it's, you're going to see a lot of the back of their jerseys, the bottoms of their feet running away from you.
A holding will bring it back. So no first score of the game just yet.
Lake Norman, you breathe a big sigh of relief right there. And that was the thing, too, talking to Coach Oliphant, is they want to make Mallard Creek really earn everything tonight. They want to be really good with the football. They want to make sure they're not getting, silly penalties, things like that. But, even when Mallard's got the ball, they want to make them earn it and drive the length of the field and not give up big plays.
A spot penalty brings it back for a 2nd and 5. And it's a handoff this time to Christian Dixon to the edge, and he gets enough for the first down to move the chains for Mallard Creek.
Yeah, Mason Hefner coming in making his first tackle of the night. And I suspect that's going to be a name we're going to call quite a bit. He's the leading tackler for Lake Norman.
Knight changes up. It's Dixon to his left. Here's an option. The pitch. Dixon around the outside. And out of bounds near midfield.
Nice job by Elijah Thompson out on the edge blocking the corner. And really, if you're going to get some big running plays, we talk about the O-line's got to block, try to get you 6 yards. If you get those receivers blocking, that's when you're getting 6 points.
It's another first down brought to you by 988lifeline.org. Call, text, or chat 988-24-7. Let's get through it together. Now Knight on a play fake, goes to the air, and it's ripped out of bounds. Addison Powell, the senior tight end, makes the catch.
nice work by Brandon Sneed, the offensive coordinator for Creek. He kind of took the formation and condensed it down and kind of brought everybody in. And then with the play action, he's able to get the quarterback out and break contain much easier.
It's another first down. Gets it to the 37 for Mallard Creek. Now Knight keeps it through the left side. A jut toward the middle of the field and a gain of 9.
That's a good zone read look by Creek, and he's reading that backside defensive end. If he chases the running back, Caleb pulls the ball out and keeps it himself.
It'll be 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 for Mallard Creek. Again, Knight, this time right up the chute, and that's plenty for the first down. Another instance of moving the sticks for the Mavericks.
Yeah, real creative here with the run game where they bring the motion guy to kick out the end and then use the running back to lead through. And again, with the different quarterbacks Creek's going to play, these are the things you're going to see out of them.
Trying to go tempo there for Mallard Creek, and a timeout called by Lake Norman. They're going to come up with something to stop this run game.
That's right. And it's a good timeout. Allows them, number one, to just kind of catch their breath and settle in a little bit. And now, you're in the red zone where things are going to be a lot tighter. So now they can really come up with a good plan and try to slow down this run game, because that's going to be the big key for them tonight, is they got to slow down this run game.
Please let your good sportsmanship show during
so Lake Norman got a break on what would have been a huge touchdown run for Mallard Creek. Instead, it has been backed up, and it's been a bit more methodical for the guys in red.
And you see, one thing with the coach, with the Kennedy Tinsley team, is they are not going to make mistakes. You're not going to see a lot of personal fouls with these guys and false starts and things like that. He runs a very well-disciplined program.
1st and 10.
You see the tight formation. Again, you wonder, are they going to try to get on the edge again with this?
From the 16, and look at this.
I love it. Shifted out, puts a bunch of linemen into the boundary.
Oh, it's a high snap for Knight. He had to go way up there and get the handoff down in time. So a bit of a busted play for Mallard Creek. The creativity doesn't pay off.
Not the big guys for Lake Norman rallying through to make a play. See T.J. Henderson, one of the guys out there pursuing from the inside.
Loss of a couple, it'll be 2nd and 12.
Knight up the middle.
And one up the middle again. Short gain.
Yeah, another little high snap there. That's what it seems like it's throwing the timing off here the last couple of plays. But, you're Lake Norman, and you're making them sweat right now. Those big guys really got to do a great job here. Tegan Sheck and T.J. Henderson, Jacob Domingo, Memphis Barb. They got to stand up to this offensive line from Creek.
3rd and 8. Another high snap. Knight gets the handoff down. Clark up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Clark on the carry for a Mavericks touchdown. Outstanding blocking by the offensive line.
I think you see Creek got exactly what they wanted there out of that look. Bring the motion guy across. And again, just some eye candy, trying to pull some of those secondary defenders and third-level defenders out of it. So once they're able to crash through the line of scrimmage, there's nothing but the end zone in front of them.
Creek going for 2, and it's dropped. So that will not be successful. Mavericks on the board first, 6-0 here in the first quarter.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, too. And you said a methodical drive. Just, no minus yardage plays with the exception of the penalty. Just moving forward, not trying to do too much, and just playing their game offensively.
So Lake Norman's offense ready to take the field for the first time. Following this kickoff return for a response for them. This is it's been an interesting year for the Wildcats, I should say. Lake Norman starting a freshman, Caden Kraft, at the quarterback position. Athletes at their disposal as well, all around him.
You know, talking to Coach Oliphant, too, about Caden Kraft. You know, we're talking about a multi-sport athlete. Akita not only plays football, he plays basketball. And interesting enough, he's a decathlete as well, and he throws the javelin. But this is a big night for him, you know, as a freshman coming in to start a playoff game at Mallard Creek.
Moses Morris on the return for Lake Norman. That's the guy they want in that situation, but he couldn't find space. Brought down inside the 20.
Chase Spellman in on the tackle.
So it's a very balanced attack for Lake Norman. This is a program that not that long ago, as of 2 or 3 years ago even, resorted to a triple option because of personnel. They've kind of broken out of that. They've evolved, so to speak.
Certainly, and you know, really that's a sign of a great coach and a great coaching staff by recognizing the talent that you have and using that talent, you know, to fit as best you can, not trying to force them to run a system that they're maybe not, you know, best suited for.
Nice first play as Kraft completes it to Cannon Wigington. Senior wide out after the play fake.
Yeah, real nice by the offensive coordinator for Lake Norman, John Law. And again, just a nice, easy completion, get the quarterback out on the move. And that's the thing you want to do a lot, playing a team like Mallard Creek that's going to get after the quarterback, is you want to change that launch point. Like, you don't want to be sitting there 7 yards behind the center every time you throw the ball. So you use some play action, you get some sprint out game going, use some three-step, and try to keep them off balance, make the quarterback a little bit harder to find.
Injured player for Mallard Creek is Langston Pratt. We'll step aside while they check on him. And with 8:17 remaining in the first quarter, 6-0 the score in favor of Mallard Creek. Round one of the state playoffs.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
First offensive series of the night for Lake Norman, trailing 6-0. First round 4A matchup between the 20th seeded Wildcats and the Mavericks of Mallard Creek, number 13 on the bracket. Freshman quarterback Caden Best, 1 for 1 throwing at the helm before Lake Norman. Got a fracture in his non-throwing hand. You see it, the brace on his left hand, as here's a handoff to their star running back, Moses Morris, just past the line of scrimmage. Forward momentum's going to give him nearly 4 yards here.
Yeah, great push up front by the Lake Norman offensive line, and really that's the way it's going to have to be tonight. It's going to be hard to break a lot of long runs against a team that runs this well on defense. So, you want to take your 3 or 4 yards you can in the run game, and like I said, just mix up that pass game a little bit, some short throws, and you're going to have to take your shots. And no, Coach Oliphant, I think we're going to see some stuff here tonight.
It's marked off as a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 here. Best with Morris directly behind him, 4 wide.
Yeah, it looks like Creek's coming after them here. Nice pickup.
Best with a long throw, and it's
Look at this.
Caught!
Look at this. That's what you want right there.
Lake Norman with a long touchdown. Cooper Riggleman receives it and trots it into the end zone.
That was such a great play. There's so many people involved in that. It started with number 9, I believe it was, Moses Morris, picking up the blitz off the edge, giving Caden a chance to throw just an outstanding ball to lead his receiver, and then for the receiver to get underneath and finish the play. I mean, this is playoff football at its finest. You got 2 teams playing to the best of their abilities, and so far it's give and take.
That ties it at 6, and Lake Norman's going to line up for an extra point kick.
Looks like they're going to shift out as well.
Not anymore. Moses Morris is the one to receive the snap. Steps inside, nowhere to go, so it's unsuccessful.
Well, I see your failed 2-point attempt, and I raise you a failed 2-point attempt.
How about this cannon? The freshman best, 57 yards to Riggleman. Caden Kraft, rather.
6-6, 7:21 remaining in the first quarter.
And that was just so, like I said, I mean, just the whole pass protection, the blitz pickup. I mean, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about, playing a team sport. And this is why football is just such a great sport, because that doesn't happen just by the quarterback, making a good throw. He's got to have the time to protect it. He's got to have the routes run properly. And not just the route that he threw to, but the complementary routes to affect the other defenders.
Pretty nice response for the Wildcats. That's taking a big shot. It pays off.
Lake Norman's relatively a young team. I mean, they're playing, obviously the 9th grade quarterback, but they're playing, a pretty good amount of 10th graders as well. For them to be able to respond, to that Mallard Creek drive with a big play like that should go a long way into kind of settling them down a little bit and letting them kind of get in the flow and play the game they're used to playing.
There's Ashinafi on another return, spins through the middle. Nice move to get to the 35 where he's wrangled and down. So it'll be another offensive series for Mallard Creek.
Starting the ball here at the 35-yard line with the type of offense they're doing, this is a great opportunity for them again. I mean, you're looking at a 65-yard field really for them.
Caleb Knight will be the quarterback. Knight fakes the handoff, steps inside, and that's an impressive 8-yard run.
Yeah, he's an outstanding athlete. Coach feels he is a definite Division I football player down the road. Look like Mason Hefner in there again making another tackle.
Another run up the middle. Knight ripped down near the 50-yard line, and it's a first for Mallard Creek.
Like Joey Blumberg and Memphis Barb on the stop that time. And Memphis, he's another one along with Mason Hefner, 2 sophomores that are, starting and big contributors to this football team.
1st and 10 at their own 49. Now it's a give. Samaritan Page, with his first carry of the night, breaks into Lake Norman territory.
Yeah, not a name you're going to hear a ton of times. I mean, he averaged probably 6 or 7 carries a game this year. But even with those, I mean, he had a great year running the ball, ran for 300, almost 350 yards, scored a bunch of touchdowns. So they're not afraid to put the ball in a lot of people's hands. Coach, trusts these guys to secure it and make sure they're going forward.
3rd and 2 after another Caleb Knight run. Here he is himself, nearly tripped up, breaks through, and is wrapped up at the 30.
Yeah, just quarterback ISO again, and that's the thing. That's the one guy that, you don't have accounted for necessarily. Yeah, Jalen Glover stepping up to make the tackle.
Another one right up the middle. That goes for a short gain. And a timeout by Lake Norman. That's their second of the half.
Timeout, Lake Norman.
So, you don't want to start going all crazy saying, oh, this is a huge play or it's a big play. I mean, we're 5 minutes left in the first quarter still, but here's an opportunity right now where you've got Mallard Creek at second and long. And, again, not a team that's going to throw the ball downfield very much. So, really you want to make a really big impact here. Try to keep them in a third and long situation. Try to get them out of their comfort zone a little bit. So this is a big second down call.
Yeah!
Scores on the opening drives for both of these teams. At some point, somebody's got to get a stop. Lake Norman hoping it can be them inside their own 30-yard line. Knight out of the shotgun and whistles prior to the snap.
Flag on the play.
It's an illegal substitution against Lake Norman.
So now the positive position you had them in at 2nd and 9 now turns into a 2nd and 4. And that's the thing, Coach is very well aware of that. And I'm sure he talked to his team so many times this week about not helping Mallard Creek out.
On 2nd and 4, Knight keeps it.
Knight keeps it again.
Up the middle and is battered inside the 15-yard line.
Tough physical run.
Another first down. How do you scheme for that?
First and 10.
I mean, that's the thing. You hear people talk about you got to have a spy on them. Well, the thing is, your spy's got to be just as good an athlete as the kid he's spying, or it kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, and again, biggest thing is you just got to be really, gap sound and, know where your run fits are and don't chase the eye candy. And Mallard Creek does a great job, but, flashing one play, bringing the ball in a different direction.
Knight's by himself in the backfield here. Here comes Page on the motion. It's a fake to Page. Knight right up the middle, escapes a tackle and is double teamed down to the ground.
Michael Sandrowski again making another tackle. That's 2 plays in a row. I think him and Caleb are going to get to know each other pretty well here tonight, the way things are looking.
You've mentioned Jalen Glover a couple of times. He was in on that play as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a goal to go. And a give up the middle, Page into the end zone for the touchdown. Mallard Creek, a second offensive set, a second rushing score.
The Creek O-line just do an outstanding job there. Again, just maintaining the guy in front of them. Didn't have to get a lot of knockoff, didn't have to drive guys deep into the end zone. They just had to make sure they had their gap secure. And Samaritan was able to run right through into the end zone.
Creek lining up for the extra point. Ashton Blevins sends it through and good. So it's 13-6. Mavericks with the advantage.
Yeah, and Lake Norman, I mean, we've got to get something going defensively. Mallard Creek, again, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if they've thrown the ball yet. And that's 2 drives, right down the field, 65 yards that time. It was probably 65, 70 yards the time before that. So Mallard's getting to do the things that Mallard wants to do here on the offensive side. But, we'll see. We come out here now with, Lake Norman with the ball. They had the big play last time. So, we'll kind of see how Creek decides to defend them. They brought the blitz. They played man on that play. So we'll see, do they want to risk, put themselves in that position again? Or are they going to try to play a little zone and keep those things in front and let their, big, fast athletes in the front of the defense make the plays?
If you're Lake Norman here, how much do you consider, okay, we got to maybe lengthen this drive time-wise?
Right, you know,
in order to get your defense off the field for a little bit?
Sure. And, you know, there's a number of ways to do that. You know, number one, obviously, is you want to be able to run the ball with some success. But the other thing, too, is just use the play clock to your advantage as well. Don't be in such a hurry to snap the ball. You know, because, again, you know, you want to control, like you're saying, you want to keep the ball out of Mallard's hands. You want to get your defensive players a little break here as well.
That was Noah Jacobson on the up man return. Lake Norman with it at their own 24-yard line to start.
It's a similar, same formation they ran earlier. They ran the bootleg, get your bunch trips into the, you know, to the wide side of the field.
Hard shuffling of the feet before Moses Morris changes direction and bounces outside.
Yeah,
Medium
just
gain.
Picking his spots there, and look at that. That down marker's still moving. He picks up 5 yards that time. So again, you look at the play clock here, you're 28 seconds. There's no big hurry. You want to make sure you get your play call in. You got all those things communicated. You get lined up. You know, you don't want to keep those offensive linemen in a stance for 15 seconds right now either. So you try to stay in the huddle a little bit longer.
Kraft off of the play fake. It's caught by Jacobson, and he's brought down immediately at the 30-yard line. Short gain, maybe a yard, and it'll be third down.
Again, little play action. Try to use that speed of Mallard Creek against them a little bit. Try to get, you know, really, especially at second level, those linebackers to chase the run. And then, again, just a short toss. Caden doesn't have the ball in the pocket for a real long time. Tries to avoid the rush that way.
3rd and 3 here for Lake Norman.
Like Mallard's misaligned a little bit. They got themselves straight now.
Look toward the sideline for Kraft.
Got to be careful about taking too much time right now.
Play clock down to 2 seconds. Got to get the snap off. He does, and it's a give. Moses Morris shoots right up the middle.
There you go. First
and
down.
gets enough for the first. 4 yards on the carry. Another first down brought to you by 988lifeline.org. Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Let's get through it together.
For Lake Norman, that play couldn't have worked out better. You used the entire play clock, maybe plus another second or so. But, you know, nice job with the referees just letting them play through that one. It was close enough.
Kraft hands off.
A lot of hard hitting tonight. Number 22.
Another nice carry up the middle. That's the first of the night for Jaden Nortvite.
Yeah, Jaden got his share of carries this year. Moses ran the ball 143 times. Jaden ran it 70 times. So, you know, he's obviously a kid. The coaching staff feels comfortable putting the ball in his hands, able to get Moses a little bit of a break because he's going to need a little bit here tonight. This is a physical group of defenders.
A little over 5 yards a carry this season. He will not get a 1 there.
22, Deuce Machette, the first in to meet him.
A host of Mavericks defenders led by Deuce Machette.
Deuce Machette is actually the son of Mallard Creek's defensive coordinator. You know, it's cool. You hear a lot of football programs talk about being families, and we'll get into that a little bit later, especially talk about Lake Norman's crew. But, you know, to be able to see a guy coach his son or a son coach, play for his dad, before Jet said, it's just such a special experience for those guys.
Kraft hits Jacobson again, that time for 9 yards on 3rd and 8 to extend the drive for Lake Norman. Yeah, always good to catch up with Coach Oliphant of Lake Norman. His dad, Randy, on staff with him. He formerly was on staff with Randy at Mooresville, which is where Coach Oliphant went.
And now Coach himself has his son out of practice with him every day. You got 3 generations. Look at Moses.
Moses Morris back into the game and immediately runs for a first down.
Moses is not afraid of contact. He got into that safety level there, put his head down, picked his knees up, probably picked up another 2 or 3 yards.
And the clock hits 0 to conclude the first quarter. Lake Norman is rolling right along, but Mallard Creek with the lead, 13-6 through 1 on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. Coming up tomorrow afternoon on Bahakel Sports, it is the middle school football championship. Piedmont and Northridge right here also at Mallard Creek. Brian Hales, you'll be here for that one. 1 o'clock kickoff on Bahakel Sports. But we got a good one here tonight. Mallard Creek, Lake Norman, 13-6. Mavs through a quarter of action. But Lake Norman moving it down the field again in Mavericks territory.
Yeah, if you're Lake Norman, you know, especially from an offensive perspective, you've got to be really happy with the way that first quarter went.
It's another handoff, Moses Morris.
Handoff.
Not many options at the line of scrimmage. Falls down for no gain.
Number 57, Elijah Wiggins.
Yeah, Elijah Wiggins, 6'2", 230-pound senior, right in the middle of things, making plays. That's the thing. I mean, not the biggest defensive lineman, but so active, so quick, so tough to block. Really, you look at Chaz Knox, you know, number 90 coming in at 285 there. He's going to kind of be your rock in the middle, but the rest of those guys move, change direction.
Around the left side.
Kraft fakes the handoff, keeps himself in. It's another play for no gain. This will be 3rd and 10 for Lake Norman.
Even there, they're trying to read Zakir Stripling off the edge. He went after the after the running back first, but was able to kind of redirect and chase Caden down from the back on that. And that's the thing, I was saying, these athletes at Mallard Creek, you really got to get them flying in one direction, really get them committed, come back the other way.
Kraft marked for a loss of 1, so 3rd and 11 behind the sticks. Kraft floats it up, and it's intercepted by Mallard Creek.
Yeah, Creek staying true to themselves. They still brought the linebackers. They still brought the pressure. Cade just kind of threw it out there, and, he's trying to get rid of it, trying to make a play. And, ball landed right in the DB's hands.
Demir Washington recognizing the play that collapsed for Kraft there.
Yeah, brought a 6-man blitz, 6-man pressure on that. It's just really tough to pick that up. I mean, it's one thing to have the guys assigned to, but now you've actually got to block them as well. And, it's just it's a tall task right now.
Mallard Creek takes over. That's the first time either team has not scored on an offensive drive. It's another run for the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. Again, just staying true to who they are. You see Memphis coming off the bottom of the pile again there. Memphis Barb, another tackle, and he's really been the big splash guy for them up front. 5 sacks on the year, 8 tackles for losses, 67 tackles for, playing up front.
Here's Caleb Knight. Juke after juke, got a block, tightrope walking, and well on his way to a Mallard Creek touchdown.
Yeah, looks like this one's going to stand. No flags. No, I stand corrected.
If this is against the Mavericks, it's another 60-plus yard score that will be negated.
The offensive line continuing to dominate, but there is a
Yeah, looks like we got a holding on the Mavericks.
Tough to avoid when it's the side-to-side sort of speed skating, juking going along on this near sideline as we saw.
Right, and that's just the thing, as the offensive player, as the blocker, as soon as that defender pulls away, that's one of the things the referee's looking for is you see that long arm across the chest and, it kind of makes it easier for them to call that. Yeah, you see right there, Mason Hefner, the jersey getting pulled, and especially right there as the ball carrier's flashing right by that block. It's kind of hard to miss that one.
So that takes it back within the 30-yard line.
second down, Mallard
Second and long for Mallard Creek.
Justice.
And Perry Justice up the middle with his first carry. Big play to get them back past the initial line of scrimmage.
You see Perry, almost a little bit different style of runner here. Just finishing runs off, being a little bit more physical.
Here's Justice again. Right up the chute and past midfield on 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, Coach Tinsley, Coach Sneed, the offensive coaches, they found something that they really like here. And it doesn't matter whether it's Caleb, whether it's Perry. It looks like quarterback run's going to be a big part of tonight. Here's another one.
Justice squared up as if he was going to throw very briefly. Goes up the middle on I'll call it a delay, slight delay.
We'll go with that.
Gains 2.
All right, so 2nd and 9, so a little bit longer distance here. Now you've got Perry in. Perry's thrown the ball a lot more this year, so we'll see if Mallard actually throws the ball.
Here he goes. And that's batted down.
Mason Schenk. Looks like Tegan Schenk. The 6'4", 220-pound senior. Again, made a bunch of plays this year, 42 total tackles. He had 5 sacks. 5 tackles for losses, led the team with fumble recoveries.
Now 3rd and 8. Justice runs it right up the middle, gets it off, another first down. Mallard Creek now 4 for 4 on 3rd down conversions.
Just another quarterback run.
First down, Mallard Creek.
Right back to it.
If it ain't broke, right?
And a double team at the line of scrimmage keeps Justice from gaining any yards.
It's like T.J. Henderson and Jacob Domingo. Got the big guys involved that time. T.J. Henderson coming in at 5'10", 305, and Jacob Domingo 6', 265. Combined make a nice stop here.
Deliberation for a call that will go against the defense. So that improves it for Mallard Creek. I saw the discussion without initially seeing the flag come out either. So
same.
Now Caleb Knight's back into the game.
Again, it looked like another mental mistake for Lake Norman. Helping Mallard Creek, basically giving them another, another first down and a half.
And now whistles visible frustration for Caleb Knight. He wants to get to his next play in.
So you see, probably 3 or 4 Perry Justice runs up the middle. Wouldn't be surprised to see a fake up the middle and then Caleb take it to the outside coming up here soon.
It's a handoff up the middle.
Like Jacob Dorfman on the stop.
He brings down Christian Dixon.
So now we're probably about 4 or 5 runs in between the tackles here. So we'll probably get ready to see something off the edge, if not a play action.
2nd and 6 at the 19-yard line. High snap. Knight pulls it in, and it's blown up.
Jacob Domingo again. Yeah, that's the 3rd high snap we've seen from Mallard Creek tonight.
That's the first time it's really bit them.
Yeah.
In that way. I mean, with the athletes they've had in all 3 cases, Caleb Knight, the one receiving it, he's made do prior to that. Now it's 3rd and long. Knight
is taking it to the edge.
Hurdles. It won't be enough for the first, but that's going to put them within striking distance. Gain of 9.
I think there's no question they go for this.
This 4th down brought to you by NC Medicaid. For more people, get full health care coverage with $4 maximum copays. Find out more at medicaid.nc.gov. Yeah, you're deep into the other team's territory.
But yet,
here we go.
But yet, we'll take the field goal attempt.
Ashton Blevins. It's a 34-yard attempt that goes right of the post. Might have gotten grazed, too.
It looked like you may have gotten a piece of that. And that's kind of that no man's land there, that 4th and 4, 4th and 5, where you're really not somebody who throws the ball well. I mean, it's tough to run for 4 yards, especially the last couple of plays with Domingo and Henderson and those guys making plays.
We'll step aside, 13-6 still. Mallard Creek on top, 2nd quarter, with just under 7 to play in the first half.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Just under 7 minutes left in the first half. Missed field goal by Mallard Creek gives it back to Lake Norman, 13-6 in favor of the hosting Mavericks.
The way that first quarter started, it looked like we had a shootout on our hands. We had three possessions, 3 touchdowns. Come out here in the second quarter, they both get stops.
Caden Kraft escapes trouble and takes off with it on his own.
Ball came out. Great play by Mallard to strip that.
Was it recovered, though? Did it bounce out of bounds with Kraft? It looks like it did.
He got it back. Yeah, he recovered his own fumble.
That's a huge run by Kraft, who we've seen show off the arm to this point.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. That speed right there, I'm sure, surprised those kids from Mallard Creek. I mean, you see a 6'5" freshman out there. You don't expect him to be able to run like that, but not even a designed run. Protection broke down. He saw the opportunity right in front of him. Ended up taking that thing for about 65 yards, 66 yards.
Nearly doubled his longest run of the season to this point. Previously 35 yards. Moses Morris jukes to the outside and is brought down with a pile.
And that seems like that's Moses' style, just a jump cut here, jump cut there, put your shoulder down, pick your knees up, run somebody over.
Morris with a couple on the carry, 2nd and 8.
2nd and 9. Looking to
Kraft had time, no longer does. Brought down for the sack.
Chaz Knox is in the house. 6'1", 285 pounds worth of Chaz Knox. Great swim move. Just he shot the hands on the left guard, disengaged, used the arm over, in the backfield, finished the play off.
And he blew right through Moses Morris there, too, which,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're Morris, tough situation to be in.
I think they call that a business decision.
Yeah. Makes it 3rd and long.
Big thing here for Lake Norman is you want to get out of this drive with points. You're inside the 20. You know, you're in Caden said you're talking about any possession that ends with a kick is a good possession. Right here, you're looking at you think you have 3 points basically in your hand. So if you touchdown, if it presents itself, great. If not, let's just throw the ball away or you know, pull it down, get what you can. But biggest thing here is don't make a big mistake with the football.
Lake Norman calls a timeout. That's the 3rd and final of the first half for them. It'll be 3rd and 14, so they've got to get it to the 5 for a first down. But like you said, the way this thing's been going, make some kind of forward progress, keep it secure. You got a chance at a field goal. You bring it within 4.
Wouldn't surprise at all to be a screen pass right here. You know, traditionally you get down inside the red zone like this, teams go man. Mallard's a big man-to-man team anyway. The way they're blitzing, you know, nice little running back, slip screen, something like that, a middle screen. That's probably your best opportunity to make a big play, if not get into the end zone to get a first down. Plus, it's also a pretty safe play as well.
So here the huddle breaks.
Really impressed with Caden Kraft. Again, coming in here as a 9th grader to play his defense. And, you know, this isn't just an average, you know, a good Charlotte defense. This is a defense that, you know, in very short notice went up to Ohio, knocked off one of the true blue bloods of high school football in Cincinnati Moeller. So this is a group that really knows how to stop people.
Cannon Wigginton, the man in motion. Kraft evades a sack and just has to go down with it.
Yeah, kind of made me nervous there, the way he's kind of avoiding the rush. He's got that ball out kind of loose. Doesn't take much for that to come out, but, you know, good hand strength to be able to secure that. And it just makes a great decision here just to get on the ground. Again, don't do anything to put the ball in harm's way. Set yourself up for a field goal attempt.
Brady Tarbell to attempt it. This 4th down brought to you by NC Medicaid. For more people, get full health care coverage with $4 maximum copays. Find out more at medicaid.nc.gov.
Got Cannon Wigginton on the hold here. It's like about a 42-yard kick.
There's the field goal attempt.
I think he pulled it.
It's left of the post, no good. So another empty-handed possession for one of these teams after that fast start offensively you alluded to.
Yeah, it seems, you know, and I think they both kind of settled down a little bit. You get those playoff jitters, those nerves a little bit. But, you know, the first quarter you take a couple, you know, kind of take a couple punches, so to speak, and, you know, get yourself into the flow of the game.
Credit defense for both teams as well. Some tackles for loss have gotten the other team behind schedule, so creating some 3rd and long situations.
Well, and I think with both of those possessions, you know, we obviously saw, you know, Chaz Knox on the sack on Caden, but then on Mallard Creek's possession, you had the big guys inside with Domingo and Henderson making a lot of plays. So you get the defensive lines play, you know, getting involved a little bit more here in the 2nd quarter.
Gain of 2 on the first play for Mallard Creek. Curtis Clark on the carry.
I think we still got Caleb in the quarterback. Wonder if they go back to a quarterback run up the middle.
It's Clark again. Up the gut.
Curtis Clark on the carry
yards after
again.
contact. And he was hit at the line of scrimmage. Ends up getting 3, so it's 3rd and 5.
It's 3rd and 5 for the Mavs.
Mallard Creek 4 for 5 on 3rd down conversions so far tonight.
Another high snap.
Knight squeezes it, goes up the middle for not much. In fact, he lost a couple.
See Jacob Domingo in there yet again.
4th down. Blevins.
And that's really, I mean, the one position group that really needs to have a great night for Lake Norman tonight is that defensive line. You know, if they could tie up the offensive line, make a couple plays themselves, you know, allow Sandrowski and Hefner and Minner and those guys to run around and make plays, that's, you know, that's going to be the utmost importance to them going, you know, for the next 2.5 quarters. I'd love to block this punt if you're Lake Norman. I would be surprised to see them. Let's go after it here.
Blevins gets the punt off. Morris, the return man for Lake Norman, allows it to bounce.
Inside the 40,
and down at the 36.
It's a good kick. You know, it looked like Lake Norman did bring a little bit of pressure. And that's the thing. I mean, you go after these punters, yeah, you want to block the punt. But even if you could force them to kick it a little bit sooner, kind of lose their focus. But nice job by Creek's punter. Kind of block that out, gets the kick, it hits at midfield. And once it hits at midfield, get another 10, 15 yards of roll out of it.
And a punt like that, I mean, it makes the 3 and out relatively inconsequential, right?
Sure.
Because you basically sort of, you don't get a score out of the drive, obviously, but you basically sort of flip the field, and field position is not something, a huge advantage for Lake Norman coming out of it.
Correct. So you're looking now, we got 3 minutes left here for Lake Norman until you take it to the halftime, knowing they're getting the ball to come out to start the second half.
Bruce plays a run, Nortvite gets 1. It'll be 2nd and 9.
So I think, you know, here if you're Lake Norman, you can play a little bit looser. You can try a little, you know, some gimmicky stuff here, knowing that you're going to get the ball coming right back after the break.
Griffith in on the stop. 2nd down.
So don't look like we're getting blitz out of Mallard this time.
It's
a cover 4 look.
Kraft rolls.
He's got a guy downfield if he can find him.
Smart run of a couple of yards.
Picking up a few yards before.
Yeah, he kind of, you know, once he was able to avoid the rush, he had Cooper Riggleman for just maybe a moment downfield, but, you know, you're running for your life there. You're kind of looking for the sideline, looking for that hit. You kind of lose fact that, you know, that you got receivers running down there. Well, like you said there, just a great decision by him. Secure the ball. Let's get ready to play 3rd down.
3rd and 7.
So they let their front 4 just come after him this time. They're doing it here, a little line stunt. They get home, ball comes out.
Mallard Creek, a sack, a forced fumble, and Zion Burden comes out with it.
Great scheme by Creek. You know, again, they didn't bring a blitz, but they used their defensive line. The tackles went wide, and they looped the ends underneath. And it looked like Knox, to me, that got through and was able to knock that ball out. Again, D tackles making big plays here again, and our defensive linemen making big plays again tonight. But now you're Mallard. Now you're looking to you want to slam dunk this. You got the, you know, you're on the 28-yard line. You got 2 minutes to go.
This is the first big swing in terms of field position battle.
I would definitely say that.
Turnovers will go a long way in that. From the 28, Barry Justice keeps it, converged on in the backfield, and stood straight up.
Great D-line play by the Wildcats again. You know, it was Memphis Barb finishing this off. But Tegan Shank is the one who stood up the blocker. He 51, Chase Davis came to kick him out. Tegan stood him up, and that allowed Mason Barb to come through and make a tackle.
Page, the ball carrier. Up the middle, gets past the initial line of scrimmage.
Samaritan Page on the carry, picking up yardage on 2nd down.
And it'll be 3rd and 8.
3rd down for Mallard Creek. official timeout.
You know, the thing really with Lake Norman that's impressing me tonight, coming into a Mallard Creek like this, and Coach Oliphant and his staff, they've competed against Mallard Creek quite a few times, but you know, this is a school that's got a reputation of a great football program. You come out here, you see the numbers that they've got on their sideline, but Lake Norman doesn't seem to be intimidated or fazed by that at all. Big deal, we're here to play football.
Justice at quarterback. Keeps it.
Justice.
Looking to throw and brought down, chased into the backfield by Domingo again.
My man has come to play tonight.
Less than a minute remains in the first half.
You know, so they left him on block as part of their scheme on that, trying to draw him into the running back. But again, he recognized it. He saw the quarterback pull it out, able to redirect, and not just that, but be able to finish the play off as well.
Mallard Creek going for it on 4th and 10. Justice rolling.
He's got an opportunity to run
Takes off. Jukes near the marker. I don't know that he got there.
Oh, no, that's going to be close. I don't think he did. It looks
fell.
like where they're spotting him.
And he reached for it.
Are they going to give him the reach?
Just a patient run. And yeah, I think maybe he assumed he had it maybe a yard too short is what it looked like there.
It looked like it. Yeah. You know, and I think the other thing, you saw him start to reach the ball out, and then number 11, William Minter, showed up almost immediately. Yeah. He had to draw the ball back in. Turnover on down. So, again, we go from a shootout to a defensive battle here.
Big stop by Lake Norman, especially after the turnover.
I think you look for Lake Norman here probably just to get out of the half. I believe they've got no timeouts left. You got 32 seconds left. 2
running backs in the backfield. Moses Morris looks ready to receive the shotgun snap. So a Wildcat formation for the Wildcats. And Morris is brought down after a slight gain.
Yeah, he had Jordan Nordvie back there to be his lead blocker. Just like old school single wing football.
Looks like Lake Norman content to let the clock run down to 0 and get us to half here. Touchdowns on the first 3 possessions of the game. None since, and we've got a 1-score game at the half. Mallard Creek 13, Lake Norman 6, midway through on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. It's the first round of the 4A state playoffs. Stay with us.
Not even an hour. Not even an hour.
For 8 years, Scott Taylor was the man in charge on the hardwoods at Myers Park. In his 8th and final year there, the Mustangs won the most regular season games in school history and won the 4A state title. Now Taylor is the man in charge at a brand new school that did not even exist a year ago or have a gym a few months ago.
Yeah, there was a gym here, but it didn't look like this, right? The structure was in place, but even then, the first meeting that I had with Coach Pogue, our athletic director, was up there in the cafe up at the front of the school, and everything else was under construction.
Including all the athletic programs. So Scott Taylor was given a clean slate to work with when it came to starting a basketball team.
It's a different opportunity to create a bigger, broader community, and that comes with a different feel, but that's no less special. It's no less significant. It's just unique.
And as the head coach of the Ambassador Christian Lions for a short period of time and just 2 games into their schedule, Scott Taylor has already had a huge impact on his players.
Coach Taylor has been big on leadership and just teaching us the right way to play the game. Just establishing like a new strong culture that we can carry on for years with us and after us when we leave.
Yeah, it's been awesome just being able to play for a guy like Coach Taylor. He just wants us to come into practice every day and just give 100% and then just dial that into the game.
With the Lions at Ambassador Christian, Jeff Taylor, WCCB News.
Gente de zona, una vez más, homenaje a Bárbaro de Ritmo.
With soccer, so I said, how can I celebrate these kids and their diversity and where they came from? And I came up with this idea to do an international night soccer game.
Representing El Salvador, Morocco, Heiner. Representing Senegal, Cameroon, France.
Enjoying just seeing everyone's cultures and seeing how they express them and just seeing how many diverse people we have at this school.
I love celebrating our cultures and getting our players from East and Independence all together to really share a beautiful moment of culture and diverse and embrace our rich history here at East Meck.
So the goals is just to bring awareness, to our student body and our fans of where kids are actually from. When they're talking, everybody's speaking English, they're talking to each other in English, but then we have kids from Asia, from Africa, from North America, South America, Central America, everywhere, that shows our kids not only do we accept everybody, but we also celebrate where you're from.
It just means, someone feeling represented, someone different feeling represented in every single way.
Honestly, I just love to be a part of it. I wanted to bring everyone together. I knew East Meck and Independence has a very, very diverse student population, and I wanted to embrace it here at this game.
I think it's great. The parents and the fans really get into it when they see, the flags of their home countries, and we have the different music playing and food trucks coming in and everything. It's kind of an event that everybody's proud to come and represent where they're from.
The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Middle School Championship football game comes to Bahakel Sports tomorrow. Piedmont and Northridge right here on BahakelSports.com. 1 p.m. kickoff from Mallard Creek, where we are at halftime of our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. Tonight's Bahakel Sports Game of the Week is brought to you by 988lifeline.org. Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Let's get through it together. Mallard Creek 13, Lake Norman 6. It's the first round of the NCHSAA state playoffs on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. Second half coming up when we return. Just about ready for the resumption of play in the start of the second half on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. State playoffs, first round matchup between Mallard Creek and Lake Norman. So the first 2 times out for the Mallard Creek offense, it was 2 touchdowns. First time out for Lake Norman, they scored a touchdown. The teams between the two of them converted all of their first 6 third downs. None since then. It has become a defensive struggle, Coach.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You get into the second half now, and now you're going to start seeing like really the players show up, because a lot of guys. I mean, this is a lot of nerves right now. I mean, you're one play away. If you're Lake Norman, you're one play away, whether it's offense or defense, or tying this up or taking the lead. If you're Mallard, you got a chance to kind of stretch this thing out a little bit. So, I think every play, everything gets a little more amplified here. Turnovers become that much more important, because it's, to be cliche as could be, it's win or go home.
Win or go home. It is within a score, 13-6 at the half, with 2 quarters of football left to play in the NCHSAA state playoffs, first round. 7-point halftime lead for Mallard Creek against Lake Norman in this 4A state playoffs first round matchup on our Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. I'm with Coach Brian Hales, Darren Vaught here, ready to resume action. Lake Norman won the opening kick, deferred, and finds themselves receiving this kick to begin the third quarter within a score of the Mavericks. A daunting trip here to Mallard Creek, always to play this program in a playoff game.
It's been real cool to see which position groups really step up in the second half. The first quarter was the story really of the quarterbacks on both sides. You had the Creek quarterbacks running up and down the field. You had Caden with the big completion for the touchdown. And then the second quarter was like the D lines, especially the big guys.
Yeah.
Elijah Wiggins and Chaz Knox for Creek.
And a stoppage, even though the ball was kicked by Ashton Blevins. And offside.
Offside on the kicking team.
But yeah, and then you had, TJ Henderson and Jacob Domingo, for Lake Norman making a lot of plays in the backfield, and Tegan Sheck and Memphis Barb and those guys. So, kind of see which group steps up here in the second half, but it's the Lake Norman offense with the first shot at it. We got a little extra 5 yards of field position coming up.
The deep guys, Moses Morris, Jaden Nordtveit, love that. A little extra room to work with.
There's Blevins with the kick.
There's the kick. It is Nordtveit.
15-yard line.
To the outside. Wrapped up at the 25, fought through it, and tackled shy of the 30.
Long field to go, about 70 yards to get to the end zone.
To begin this second half.
I thought Lake Norman did a nice job with the running game. They weren't getting the big plays and the splash plays out of the running game, but like I said, Moses kind of jumping in and out of cuts and getting you 3 and 4 yards, and positive plays, moving forward, putting them in manageable situations.
Moses Morris, the yellow gloves, the tailback in for Lake Norman. He gets it to begin the third quarter. A juke inside, but nowhere to go. Pushed back by several Mavericks.
I think I counted 8 of them on that tackle.
Stopping him for no gain, 2nd and 10.
Moses, the son of former Oregon Duck Maurice Morris, played in the NFL. When we talked to Jonathan Oliphant, the head coach for this Lake Norman team, he had a line that I loved. He just said, apple trees make apples. And that was his expression when referring to Maurice and his son Moses, that type of player. Caden Kraft throws it on the run, and it's caught at midfield. Noah Jacobson again.
Well poised by Kraft. Again, heavy pressure that time. Doesn't panic, doesn't just throw it anywhere, try to run away. He finds a spot where he can release it from. Jacobson shakes free from coverage. Now you got a big play out of the pass game. You're in Mallard Creek territory, just like that.
I thought he was had after that first pump, and everything was converging on him. That's a great play. First and 10 in Mallard Creek territory.
It's like they're going to play base defense, not a blitz look here from Creek.
Rolling to his right.
Play action for Kraft. Hurdles a would-be tackler and throws it away.
Incomplete.
Yeah, they try to go with the with a little naked boot here, but Mallard Creek, good disciplined defense, didn't chase it. Defensive end stayed home, forced the incompletion.
Good pressure on the quarterback.
But again, to me, you're looking at a freshman quarterback. That's a positive play. He's in trouble. He didn't try to do too much. He recognized the problem. Get rid of the football. We go to the next play.
He's been impressive in that regard. I mean, save for the interception, which was a poor decision in the first half. Otherwise, he's done that a lot. It's avoiding the big disaster negative plays.
Right, and that's right. I mean, that's so much of playing quarterback. It's just not putting your team in a bad position.
Morris can't quite get to the outside. Open field tackle brings him down
You know, to that with Caden as well, there's a saying I learned a long time ago and always kind of passed on to quarterbacks is don't make a bad play a disaster. So he's found himself into some bad situations, but again, has avoided that disaster situation and feeding into that Creek defense.
3rd and 9 for Lake Norman. They were 2 of 5 on thirds in the first half, converting their first 2 and missing their more recent 3. Kraft, back shoulder throw, and it is pulled in for the first down.
Moving the chains again.
Cannon Wigginton on the reception. Another first down brought to you by 988lifeline.org. A call, text, or chat 988-24-7. Let's get through it together.
You really got to appreciate, you know, respect, you know, the way Lake Norman's handled this game offensively with Coach Oliphant, Coach Law, is just, you know, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Don't take many chances.
From the 35, Morris jolts after the handoff, but brought down in the backfield.
You know, that being said, knowing Coach Oliphant the way we do, I would not be surprised to see maybe double pass, maybe a little flea flicker, something like that. He's going to reach into that bag here before too long.
Zion Burden, who recovered the fumble in the first half, tackling Morris from behind. Here's Kraft, steps up through the pocket, runs himself, and is shoved out of bounds.
Pushed out of bounds by number 10, Nick Griffith.
About 5 yards short of the first.
Yeah, but another mature play by Caden. You know, he had a little bit of pressure coming through the middle. They brought Chris Rogers on the blitz, but he stepped up through the opening, little pump fake, and he picked up a few yards. Again, not making rash decisions, not trying to do too much. So now you're looking at, I mean, it's a very manageable 3rd and 5 right here.
Kraft fakes the give, takes it himself, and he gets enough for the first down.
By 1.5 yards. That's all. I mean, just get what you need. And they're picking on, you know, it looks like they're picking on the defensive end here. Chases the ball carrier.
And Rogers, on the tackle.
So that's consecutive 3rd down conversions on this opening drive of the second half. One was a great throw by Kraft. That time a run by the freshman quarterback. Man in motion for Lake Norman. Kraft drops back. Here comes the pressure. Completes it. Jacobson again.
Just so smooth, so under control of what's going on out there. And great pass rush by Creek. They had 3 guys in the backfield on him. He's able to just buy himself just enough time to find Jacobson.
Just shy of the first down marker. 2nd and short at the 15. Kraft to throw to the end zone, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Kyle Mosley. First time Mosley's been targeted.
And that's kind of, you know, watching them play through the year, that's kind of one of their big plays, him throwing that fade ball, that jump ball, you know, to Kyle on the outside, and that was the time for it. Mallard Creek brought the house. They brought pressure. He had man-to-man coverage. You throw it up to your leading receiver and hope he makes the play for you.
You mentioned Mosley, the leading receiver for this team. Tremendous lacrosse player. We were talking to Coach Oliphant prior to the game about his commitment to the University of Tampa to play at the Division II level. Mosley again out wide, number 6, right of your screen. Kraft, hands on 3rd and 1. Nice spin move, breaks free. Moses Morris. He gets inside the 15. I believe that's going to be just enough based on the spot, but no indication yet.
Yep.
And there it is.
They gave it to him. Wow, did you see this run? The spin move, lowers the head. Ooh. Kind of makes you nervous to see it can lower his head like that.
Had to work for that 1.5 yards, no doubt.
But what a determined run. I mean, they had him dead to rights in the backfield. It's just a nice tight spin move. So, again, you see the condensed formation here. So either get crossers.
Kraft wrapped up and brought down. Keeps a hold of it. You saw him cock his arm up as if, okay, maybe I can throw it away. There was no chance of that.
No, not at all. Looks like he actually survived the first hit, but there's just too many guys back there.
Zion Burden with the sack.
So now you're looking at 2nd and 15 here. Again, not a lot of room with being in the red zone. So you're looking, for a catch and run, maybe some crossing routes.
Play fake.
Screen.
Kraft dumps it down low. Wigginton back near the initial line of scrimmage.
Nice job, Creek D. They went with the play action, and they kind of gave the boot look coming back to the right, but instead of, keeping it on the boot, he had the screen set up out there. Nice job by Creek, staying disciplined, staying home on the backside.
3rd and 11 for Lake Norman. They've converted all 3 thirds in the second half on this drive. Conversions of 9, 5, and 1 yard. Kraft bobbled the snap and is brought down. Another Mallard Creek sack makes it 4th down.
Yeah, just too much pressure. Man, they brought the extra rusher that time. They brought the blitz. He gets there, kind of gets Caden off his spot, and then the rest of the troops rally and throw him down.
Burden again off the edge. This 4th down brought to you by NC Medicaid. For more people, get full health care coverage with $4 maximum copays. Find out more at medicaid.nc.gov. And Lake Norman will call a timeout, their first of the second half. After their first failed 3rd down conversion of the second half.
Yeah, tough spot to be in here. You're 4th and 15. And really, you're on the edge of field goal range as it is. So, you definitely, it's not as it's just a tough spot on 4th down here.
It does look like they're going to send out Brady Tarbell to attempt the field goal.
Well, they're going to line up like they're going to kick a field goal.
Yeah, they'll line up as if that's the case.
Might want to deal off the bottom of the deck on this one.
This would be about a 38-yard attempt.
Warren Jones, Malaysia Cunningham, Mackenzie
Wigginton down for the hold.
Najee Fortune, Nia Applewhite.
Yeah, Creek's playing this safe. They got 2 safeties back.
It's down. Tarbell got plenty on it, and it's through the uprights.
And the kick is good by Lake Norman.
38-yard field goal draws it within 4. 13-9. Mallard Creek on top. 5:02 left in the 3rd.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. and it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
5 minutes left in the third quarter. It is 13-9. Lake Norman trailing by 4, but they just got 3 points on the board after a nearly 7-minute drive. 38-yard field goal. And they'll kick it back to Mallard Creek for the Mavericks' first possession of the second half.
You know, if you're Norman here, after that possession, of course you'd love to get the 7 over the 3 on that, but that aside, you converted 3 first downs on the drive. You take 7 minutes off the clock. That's the recipe to come in to a Mallard Creek and try to get a win.
Oh, and it's an onside kick by Lake Norman that skips out of bounds. So the flags come out. That's the tricking nature of Coach Jonathan Oliphant that we've sort of been waiting on.
And this is the time of year because you work on these things all year long. You've got, a different onside kicks. You got some trick plays and fake punts, and you practice those things every week, and sometimes you use them, sometimes you don't. But, and again, like we said, you're in a playoff environment. You got to get this win if you're going to play, so there's no point in taking those things home with you.
Interesting form on that onside kick too, because that was not Brady Tarbell, the kicker, issuing the onside kick. It was number 28, Caden Robles, the wide receiver. But you want the kicker to sort of swipe across.
Right, it's it's almost kind of like a counter on, when you have the
Curtis Clark, first play from scrimmage of the second half, finds pay dirt for Mallard Creek, a Mavericks touchdown.
And that's a lightning bolt right there for the Creek. Oh, Guess what? Yep. 3 for 3. 3 long touchdown runs, 3 holding calls.
Holding against Mallard Creek. That would have been a 48-yard score.
So that's about 160 yards of touchdown runs called back so far tonight. Yep. It goes in the book as 3 penalties for 30 yards, but the reality, that's 3 penalties for 160 yards. But again, I mean, is that another bullet dodge by Lake Norman here?
Yeah.
Brings back another touchdown.
So Mallard Creek gains about 3 yards on the spot penalty. 1st and 7. Clark again. Shifts. Still on his feet and pushed out around the 45.
Yeah, that looks like Domingo, Jalen Glover on, getting in on the action again.
Those guys are pretty well rested. They had the halftime break and then a 7-minute drive by their offense.
Absolutely, and they're responding right now. Like Dorfman was in on the tackle again. He's been all over the place tonight. 5'11" senior.
2nd and 5. Caleb Knight keeps it. Switches hands. He's got a lead block inside the 40. He's out of bounds.
Yeah, you see here, you get the split flow read, and he just goes from passer to runner. He had his tight end in front of him. He could have just flipped it to him, but instead, why risk an incompletion? Why risk a drop? Keep it in your hands. Turn your receiver into a blocker. You get a big play off the run game.
He hasn't thrown it yet. Why start now? Here's Knight again, right up the chute. Squeezes through a couple of guys, hurdles, and is wrapped up shy of the 10.
Yeah, it looks like that power play again where you get your down blocks. You see a right, I believe it's going to be the right guard, yep. Leads up inside with the running back. So you had 2 blockers leading through the hole for you on that.
Another first down. Perry Justice throws over the middle, and it's picked off. Lake Norman with the interception. Glover pulls it in the end zone.
What a play by Glover. It looked like he almost came, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like he came from the other hash, saw the play develop, got underneath the throw. He was sitting in the middle of the field. He just read the quarterback on that. Great coverage. It looked like he was trying to throw the route in the seam. It looked like the one going down the sideline actually came open. I think the corner followed the outside receiver into the seam. Bring the number 2 receiver around on that. And, Caleb just didn't see him.
It was intended for Khalil Price in the back of the end zone. You know what? Jeremy Mitchell was the defensive back for Lake Norman. I think he had it pretty well covered up, too.
It looked like it. Now, was that Jeremy or Jeremiah? Because we got some too. We got
it was Jeremy. Yeah, it was Jeremy.
Running around the left side.
Kraft on 1st and 10 loses the football, and Mallard Creek gets it right back, but was the quarterback down?
They're still trying to decide, I think. Yep, looks like Lake Norman's going to keep it.
Yep. Wildcats escape disaster. They retain possession.
There is a discussion over whose ball it is.
Oh, anybody got a red flag?
Yeah. Unfortunately for Kennedy Tinsley, no, he does not.
It will remain Lake Norman football.
I can see why he's frustrated on that. But again, Caden Kraft just really impressed with his willingness. I mean, kid's out there with a small fracture. And
on 2nd and 10, he finds Noah Jacobson right at the marker, brought down. And it's a first down. Another first down brought to you by 988lifeline.org. A call, text, or chat 988-24/7. Let's get through it together.
Got enough for the first down here. So if Lake Norman could put together another one of these 7-minute, chew up the clock kind of drives, end this one in the end zone, you talk about a huge momentum and so much pressure they put on Creek, who's going to get the ball, kind of later in the fourth quarter and don't really throw it all that much.
There's Moses Morris.
Physical run.
Christopher Rogers on the stop.
That's the thing. You want to be a hammer, not a nail, when you got the ball in your hands, and that's it right there. I mean, that's another 4 yards he got just running through a tackle. He said, you may take me down, but I'm going to take you with me.
Coach Oliphant told us when we spoke with him earlier this week that Moses he's always been great, a valuable asset to this team, but Oliphant felt like starting at about the middle of the season, he just started to run differently. Kraft wrapped up from behind for the sack. Burden again.
Got 3 sacks for Burden tonight. Yeah, these defensive linemen, I think defensive line on both sides, they're eating well tonight.
Burden had the fumble recovery in the first half as well. Quite the night for him on that far edge. So a sack makes it 3rd down, 7 to gain for the Wildcats.
Lake Norman's been great on 3rd down all night. Let's see if they can convert this one.
Kraft, congestion, can't get free. Burden again.
Yes, sir. Number 27, Christopher Rogers.
Christopher Rogers back there with him as well that time.
Big stop on 3rd down. 4th down.
Again, that pass rush from Creek is just overwhelming. The offensive line and the blockers for Lake Norman right now.
Number 25, Chase Spellman, and number 21, Nasor Ashanafi. Back deep to receive.
Lake Norman to punt it away. For the first time tonight, actually. One Mallard Creek punt. And this goes to Moses Morris. He floats up a pass, and it drops incomplete.
Yeah, they released Memphis Barb down the field on that and went to the personal protector with the snap. It looked like he got a step. Creek kind of covered it. I think he cut his rod off a little bit here.
Something Lake Norman is not afraid to do. Fake it in those situations. This puts possession for Mallard Creek deep into Wildcats territory, though. 1st and 10 at the 29.
But you see what playoff football does. You saw the onside kick earlier. You see the fake punt here. You know, the old Jimmy Johnson saying, scared money don't make money. I mean, you gotta roll the dice a little bit here, make some things happen.
Mallard Creek pulling the formation tighter. It's a handoff. Clark, wide open lane into the end zone. 29 yards. Curtis Clark extends it to a 2-score game.
You know, Curtis in there, 5'8", 170. He kind of gets lost in there with those offensive linemen. He sees daylight open up, and he's able to just hit that next gear so fast that he explodes into the second, third level, and now he's in the end zone.
Second rushing score of the night for Clark.
And you see Clark turn around. He's going to be the holder on the extra point as well.
There's the extra point.
The point after attempt is good, and it's an 11-point lead. Mallard Creek 20, Lake Norman 9. Last time Mallard Creek went almost the full distance of the field and then threw the interception in the end zone.
Right. So
they get the starting field position there. All it takes is one play.
Right. And that's the thing, you know, you're Lake Norman, you're holding on. You see them kind of rolling the dice, trying some trick plays here and there. I think Coach Oliphant recognizes, you know, things are starting to get pretty late. You know, we gotta make some things happen. But, you know, that's the chance you take, high risk, high reward plays that if they don't work out for you, you're giving the ball, you know, to a good offense, almost at point blank range for them. You know, the one thing, too, that really impressed me about Creek, you know, when you look at kids like Dixon and Curtis Clark, not the biggest guys in the world, but, you know, to watch them run up there and run hard in between the tackles, you know, it's obviously a tribute to such a great weight program they've got here at Mallard Creek. These are tough, strong, physical football players.
Returning from the 7, Nortveit. Nice move. Gets to about midfield before he's brought down.
Nice return. I was a little worried about that. You know, you watch him take it from one sideline, try to cross the field against such great team speed, but he was able to find a seam and get the corner turned. Like you said, we're out to midfield.
So for the first time tonight, it's a 2-score game, and it favors Mallard Creek. Lake Norman needs a response.
Big thing for Lake Norman, you know, if they had a chance to get their offensive line over there, get their pass protection shored up. You know, like you said, a 2-score game, they're going to have to throw it more and more here.
Moses Morris spins away from Burden, but no, not so fast.
I mean, you would think there's 4 kids wearing number 15 for Mallard Creek the way he's all over the place making plays tonight.
He has just been relentless out on that edge. Doesn't matter against the pass, against the run. And Mallard Creek with some momentum heading into the fourth quarter. 20-9, Mavericks leading the Wildcats of Lake Norman with a quarter to go on the Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. To the fourth quarter we go on the Bahakel Sports Game of the Week. Mallard Creek 20, Lake Norman 9. And the Wildcats behind schedule, second and long. After we flip the field, Coach Brian Hales for Lake Norman. A pretty important series here on offense.
Right, and you've got a Mallard Creek defensive front that's just chomping at the bit. You know that they've got to throw the ball. And so you can really just pin your ears back, kind of play the run on the way to the quarterback. Lake Norman, you've got to get some protection here and get the ball in the hands of your athletes. They're showing blitz here. They're going to back out.
Hayden Kraft quickly runs out of time, takes off with it himself, shoots up.
Strong run down
Close.
the field.
And is close to the first down. So a 10-plus yard run because that was 2nd and 12.
So Creek shows the blitz. They back out of, but again, just that front four, just a relentless pass rush.
First down, Lake Norman.
And they gave him the first down. First and 10 from the 40. Kraft's been good, throwing it, running it. Easy to see why Lake Norman is infatuated with his future, potentially as just a freshman. Now he's trying to throw. Stopped dead in his tracks and ripped down at midfield.
And that's, and regardless of what the outcome's going to be here tonight, the on-the-job training that Caden Kraft is getting is just so valuable to him down the road. Because you see him, he's making great decisions with the ball. He's being mature. He's taking some shots, but he's battling. And that's just, there's no replacement for the experience he's gaining here tonight.
Elijah Wiggins, Chaz Knox both in on the sack. Second and long again.
Sure, Zion Burden wasn't far away from that pile either.
He never is.
Here he comes again.
17 to gain.
Here
Burden
he is again.
Flushes Kraft out, who gets rid of it. Incomplete. Even when it's not a sack for Zion Burden, it positively impacts the play for Mallard Creek.
Yeah, they just don't have an answer for him right now.
Number 10, Nick Griffith, and number 15, Zion Burden, pressuring the quarterback.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup. I mean, he gets a great burst coming off the ball, and at 6 foot, 230 pounds, is a powerful kid as well. It's just Lake Norman's having all kind of problems trying to contain him right now.
Lake Norman 5 for 10 on third downs. This is their longest one yet. 17 to gain. Kraft looking to throw the whole way. Pressure coming, and he's brought down again. The delayed blitz from Nick Griffith.
Right. And that's the thing you see early on. They're bringing that same stunt they ran earlier, where they loop the tackles to bring the ends underneath. But then with that delayed blitz, like you said, coming through.
This fourth down brought to you by NC Medicaid. For more people, get full health care coverage with $4 maximum copays. Find out more at medicaid.nc.gov.
And you saw Lake Norman, they used the fake punt last time. Pretty sure you're going to see Creek playing this one pretty safe. He had 2 returners back. And then Mallard's going to get the ball, and I'd be willing to bet we're not going to see them throw the ball very much the rest of the night.
We haven't to this point. They're up 2 scores. It is punted away.
Nice kick. Keep inside and in front.
Nice return, but a flag comes out.
You know what those usually are.
Jeremy Mitchell wincing in pain on the tail end of the play.
See him hop up, and there's Jeremy, number 2, and his twin brother, Jeremiah, number 22, and kids that have moved up here from Atlanta, and Coach just had the greatest things to say about just the toughness of those two. They're not the biggest kids. Jeremy 5'8", 155, Jeremiah 5'9", 165, but he said they do not play, to that size.
Yeah, part of that big sophomore class that Oliphant raves about. So it's a block in the back, it looks like. And timeout called by Mallard Creek.
So Kennedy wants a little further explanation of what the referee saw on that. Coaches are a curious bunch when it comes to the referees. We have a lot of questions for them. Sometimes it's tough to get their attention. You have to be a little louder to ask them the questions.
Sure, yeah. You get a signal for a timeout in some cases, right? Just to make sure. Just to make sure.
But when it comes to them, I tell you, coaches are a helpful bunch. They are very happy to help referees, point out holding calls and false starts and things like that.
I was wondering where you were going with
absolutely,
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had a game up here one year, and I'd been pointing out holding calls the whole first half, and the referee came over at halftime and said, Coach, you got anything for us in the second half? So, well, sir, I've been giving you pointers the whole first half. You haven't listened to me yet, so I don't think you're going to listen to me right now either. And he didn't. They kept holding us.
Mitchell seems to be in control of his own movement back to the sideline for Lake Norman, so that's a good sign. And there's Jeremiah, number 22, in his stead as a result of the injury.
But, you know, you go back to what we were talking about earlier about Lake Norman and just the family environment that they have. And it's not only that, you know, you got Coach Alpha and his dad and his son out there, but the coach lives very close to his school. Win, lose, or draw, the game's over. All the coaches come over to his house, and they kind of, you know, just kind of fellowship after that. And that's one thing Coach Eva pointed out, that the kids see that and how close the coaching staff is, and that's really how you get to be a great program.
Curtis Clark, another 15-yard run. Another first down brought to you by 988lifeline.org. Call, text, or chat 988-24-7. Let's get through it together.
Looks like Creek's going fast here. They're on the ball, lined up and ready.
Knight pulls in the high snap, gets to the outside, runs out of bounds.
And you just see the athleticism out of Caleb here, because this was a run that was designed to go up inside. You had the kick-out block of the running back leading through, didn't see the opening, bounced to the outside, picked up the first down. That stuff you can practice, you can rep all you want. That's just natural ability right there.
9-yard carry at 2nd and 1. Clark up the middle, gets the first, gets into plus territory, continuing to push.
And that's the thing you see, and it's just, you know, you get these big offensive from Mallard Creek and just play after play after play, and no matter how strong you are, no matter how conditioned you are, it's tough to stand in there and fight those blocks all night.
Up the middle, breaking tackles.
A step back and a first down for Clark.
Yeah, they cleared out. That offensive line cleared out the whole inside of the Lake Norman defense here. Knocked the defensive tackles out of the picture. And then again, Curtis Clark, physical kid, obviously great weight room kid, breaking tackles and keep pushing this thing forward. But a big run look here. Same thing, kick out, lead through. Clark pick a spot and run away.
Jumps over a tackler, shuffled his feet, stayed in bounds at the sideline there.
What great vision by the kid. Again, there wasn't a lot inside where he initially ran, but he's got that vision and the ability to get from point A to point B, even if that is off to his right a little bit, off to his left. Just be able to jump into those holes and jump out.
A Lake Norman player injured on the field following the first down for Mallard Creek. The clock reads 8 minutes exactly to play.
And I believe what we're seeing here is the definition of the word attrition.
Yeah. It's been a long game of successful running of the football for Mallard Creek. Physical game on both sides.
Couple of plays here that end with Lake Norman players getting attended to by the training staff. And
8 minutes left in this playoff matchup. 20-9 Mavericks leading by 11.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Memphis Barb, the injured Lake Norman player, back to the Wildcats sideline. That's a couple of players hobbled off on this defensive series for Lake Norman. Caleb Knight receives the shotgun snap for Mallard Creek up the middle and wrangled inside the 10, though. It'll be a first and goal.
Another man
if
down.
Not, yeah, another man down for Lake Norman.
As they continue to ground and pound their way down the field.
And again, cool way that, Mallard Creek runs their offense is you see some of the same blocking schemes play after play, but you see different players. Sometimes it's the running back with the ball. Sometimes it's the quarterback with the ball. Again, just being hard to defend. You got the one wing set back there almost as a fullback where he's kicking out. You got a puller coming through the backside, and you got the running back leading through. And it's just it's a numbers game at that point. You're trying to get more blockers to the point of attack than they have defenders. And then you let the athletes, the Curtis Clarks and the Caleb Knights kind of pick their spots, and, some Aaron Page, guys like that. Finish off the drives.
Head coach Jonathan Oliphant watching as his injured player gets attended to. It's the third on this series for this Wildcats defense that has put up such a great fight against the run that, again, we've raved about all night. Mallard Creek has been very effective.
Look, you're talking about a Mallard Creek team that went up to Ohio, knocked off Cincinnati Muller. They knock off a Georgia school. This is a good football team. They're big, they're disciplined, they're fast. And again, Lake Norman, we talked about earlier, they're a young football team. They've had some seniors out here making some plays, but, Coach is talking about his JV program as well as the young kids he's got playing varsity tonight. Tonight's going to go a long way in their development as a program and taking, them for being, a playoff team to now you're looking to make, some runs, especially when you got, a quarterback like Caden Kraft for the next 3 years.
Yeah. Will Minter, the player, injured for Lake Norman. One of those seniors who's made some plays. One of their leaders defensively. Mavericks with a first and goal from the 4-yard line.
Yeah, you got your back up against the goal line here, and really up front, you're looking to really try to create some piles here. You'll see some teams where they'll send their defensive line to kind of submarine the O-line and just force them to, so you're not getting movement. But
Caleb Knight, 4 yards for the touchdown. Knew that was coming. That's Matthew Harris, the tight end in the backfield with him.
They down blocked everybody on the right side. They had one kick out, and they had 3 blockers pull to lead through on that. And again, Creek's just, they've got Lake Norman where they want them. They're doing what they want right now. They're playing exactly the way they want. And really, you could almost say they imposed their will here, in the second half. Lake Norman did a couple things that they felt like they had to do. We talked earlier in the week with Coach, the fake punt and some of those things. And, like I said earlier, you can't take that stuff home with you. But Creek's just, I just think too big, too fast tonight.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, that's playoff football, right? If the onside kick works out, if the fake punt works out, maybe we're talking about a different game, but that's what you risk and you live with.
That's right. High risk, high reward. You know, Creek again here. I think this defensive line goes out there. You probably won't see a lot of blitz either, you know, because they've shown they can get home with their front four. So you might see some games, maybe a delayed blitz like we saw earlier. But, you know, I think Creek, you're almost content to let your front four rush, drop 7 into coverage. With that being said, they're probably going to go man-to-man and bring everybody.
Manages to stay in bounds.
Turner stays in bounds. And a first down for Lake Norman as they try to mount a comeback with 7.5 minutes remaining. The winner of this one will face the winner of Watauga and Ragsdale. If Mallard Creek and Watauga, it would be a rematch from last year's playoffs.
And that's one I'm sure, you know, when Coach Tinsley and them saw the brackets come out, you know, not to look past Lake Norman, but, you know, human nature, you're going to kind of see what the rest of the bracket looks like. And for them to see a potential rematch with Watauga, I'm sure that's something. And I'm sure that's something they probably talked about during the winter and you know, their offseason workouts was that playoff loss.
Caden Crafts. Again, nowhere to go. This front 7 for Mallard Creek, especially in the second half, has just been too much.
Yeah, and I think at some point, you know, Cade might start changing some of these pass plays to running plays when he gets them into the huddle from Coach. But, you know, at this point, you got to kind of get the clock moving here a little bit and try to keep your quarterback out of harm's way. Like I said, he's almost a sitting duck right there right now. Creek knows they've got to throw it.
Second and long at the 10. 23 to go. Kraft steps up, airs one out, and it's intercepted. Christopher Rogers still on his feet and down at the 10. The senior had a sack earlier and gets the Mavericks' second interception of the night.
Again, Chris, I mean, great interception, great return. It started up front. You know, they got Caden out of the pocket. They got him on the run. Kid's already got to be hearing footsteps as it is. Steps up, he gets rid of it. And that, you know, one of the few times tonight probably should have just ate that one. But again, that's part of this experience. That's part of the maturation for a quarterback is being in these situations and seeing what it's like. And gets rid of the big hat.
The giant cap goes to the guy who got the turnover.
So much for no cap.
There's the flag.
False start.
Could you use no cap in the proper way?
You know, the situation would have to present itself.
Just making sure. You can't be dropping Gen Z references and not know what you're doing. Here's Caleb Knight after the fake on the handoff inside the 5.
You can't spend your life being surrounded by teenagers and not pick up on these things.
Caleb Knight continues to eat, leaving no crumbs. There's one for you.
There you go. There you go.
Knight again, dragged down in the backfield. Dorfman.
Made his share of plays tonight. You know, that's a kid who's, you know, looks like now he's probably playing his last high school football game. And, you know, and he's just, you know, these guys are just going to leave it out here tonight. You know, it's a tough spot to be in. I know I've said that a few times here tonight, but.
Third and goal. Knight into the end zone for the touchdown. A 5-yard TD run, the second of the night for Knight.
See Dorfman, he almost catches this off the backside. He gets a hand on Caleb, but just couldn't finish it off.
33-9, Mallard Creek.
You know, and that's the thing. This style of offense that Creek's running, that's what makes it so appealing. You know, when you get in a game like this, when you know you're already great at running the football, and you're able to just chew up the clock and hold on to the football and finish your drives off in the end zone. Again, the left side of the offensive line just done a heck of a job just knocking everything down inside. They kind of build that inside wall. You get your kickout block to build the outside wall, and I think there was a coach somewhere at some time that said, then you want to run the ball in the alley.
Yep. Number 54, Aiden Myers. Number 50, Jordan Shaw. Number 51, A.J. Henderson.
Mavericks feeling good about their performance in this first round state playoffs matchup.
I think story of the night for Creek has been the line play. It's the offensive and defensive line. You know, you come in, you know you're going to see a heavy dose of run, and if you could run the ball and the other team knows you're going to run the football, I mean, that says a heck of a lot about not just your scheme, but about your athletes, about your players, the belief that they have in you as coaches.
Mallard Creek has only thrown it a couple of times. Once was the interception in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the kickoff. Fielded at the 16.
And you know what I mean, the same side, or the opposite side of the same coin here. I really don't think we're going to see Lake Norman do much throwing the football right now. I think they're probably going to be content. Let's hand the ball off to Moses a few times here, and hopefully pick up a first down. But let's get the clock running here, and like I said, we want to keep Caden and these guys out of harm's way.
Kraft actually the only quarterback the Wildcats have with them tonight. Haynes Robitzer, their backup, who started the season as the starting quarterback. Coach Oliphant told us prior to the game, sick with a stomach bug, so he did not make the trip.
And, the one thing Coach said about him as well, though, is just he meant so much to the team this year. It was hard for him, to have a freshman come in, take over as a starting quarterback, but a situation like that, you could see going south in a hurry.
Sure.
You see a guy who want to turn into a locker room lawyer, and this is why the coaches are wrong. But, Coach said to his credit, he was a team guy. He stayed prepared and, had opportunity. When his opportunities were there, he took advantage of them.
Six yards there from Moses Morris.
Yeah, just a base defense here, four-man rush.
Kraft throws toward the sideline.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you can get home with four, it's going to make it real hard to get open when you're trying to run routes against 7 defenders.
Brings up third down.
Third and 4 for the Wildcats.
Keeps it around the right side, looking for running room.
Yeah, they're waiting for him.
Goes down on his own.
It's been that kind of a night for Kraft.
Yeah, not a lot of room for him. When there was room, you see him take advantage of it. He had the big run, in the first half.
Kids, please call your parents. There's 4 minutes remaining.
This fourth down brought to you by NC Medicaid. For more people, get full health care coverage with $4 maximum copays. Find out more at medicaid.nc.gov.
Or grandparents.
Clock winding down, and a blocked punt. Second effort, but not enough for Lake Norman.
Yeah, you hate to see that for the Wildcats. They put up such a great fight coming in here tonight, but, you look at the tail end of that, and, hopefully that's not the part that these kids are going to hold on to and remember. You know, you want to talk about what a great season you've had. You finished second in your conference, put a heck of a fight up here for 2.5, 3 quarters, and then, you know, you start seeing some guys go down with injuries, and now the block punt and that.
After the punt was blocked, offsetting penalties. Senior DB Justin Watts, the one who got a hand on the punt.
They will offset. 1st and 10, Mallard Creek. 34-9 with 3:51 remaining.
What you think, pass or run here?
As the Mavs are looking to advance to
this situation, I mean, well, honestly, 0-0, 1 minute into the game, I would have felt great about it.
See Evan Rembert in here, quarterback now.
6'2 senior. It's his first snap and gives it to Samaritan Page. So we've now seen all 3 quarterbacks Mallard Creek regularly uses in this game.
Yeah, and that's not something you really expect going into a playoff game, is you're able to get a lot of guys repetitions, a lot of guys some game action here.
Xavier Edmond on the carry.
And Xavier Edmond, the freshman running back on the carry there.
There's a flag on the play.
Couple flags.
So one call there on sportsmanlike conduct against Mallard Creek.
And that's the stuff really as a coach you hate to see. You know, you've got the game in hand. You're doing the things that you want to do. You want to see make sure your kids are playing with composure, playing the game the right way. And, you know, you don't know what's happening. We don't know what happened before that. But, you know, like they say, it's the second guy who always gets caught. But, you know, again, Coach Tinsley's out there. He's talking to his guys about playing with composure, playing smart, finishing this game off, playing with style, playing with class, all those things.
Third and 24 now after the 15-yard penalty. This is just the second third down for Mallard Creek in the second half. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They had long runs. They didn't need to convert third downs early in the early going, like the end of that third quarter.
No, they've been just very methodical. And again, they haven't had overcome 2nd and 15s and, you know, 1st and 20s, things like that.
Rambert on a check down.
And that's one thing, you know, you see tonight, and you'll see even more so as the playoffs continue. These are all good football teams, so you're not seeing a lot of false starts. You don't see illegal procedures, bad formations, things like that. So for Mallard Creek, like I said, it's just about getting to 2nd and 7, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3. You know, so you don't have to worry about dropping back to throw the ball.
Now 4th and long.
And another flag. What's this one?
Came from the far sideline.
Lined up offsides. Like I said, no legal procedures, bad formation.
Exactly like you said.
I might as well tell you you're not going to win the lottery tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be a rich man when you wake up tomorrow.
Lined up over the neutral zone.
All right, so 4th and long, now even longer. Rambert drops the snap, and Lake Norman picks it up.
Tegan Shank.
Shank brought down at the 25-yard line.
Brought down at the 25-yard line. 2 minutes remaining. as Lake Norman recovers the fumble.
Yeah, just being alert, keeping an eye on the ball, watching the mesh point, kind of sees the ball hit the ground, picks it up, makes a big play out of it. A kid like that, kid who's been through the battles, he's a senior, for him to make a big play like that, kind of have that memory to go back on for him tonight. I think as a whole, though, that Lake Norman defensive line, all things considered, did a pretty good job here tonight. They had times where they were able to make some plays in the backfield, try to put Creek into some, put them behind the chain, so to speak, but just too much, too long here tonight.
1st and 10 from the 25. Caden Kraft airs it out to the end zone and connects with Mosley, but a flag came out on the throw.
Yeah, they blew that. Creek was lined up offsides.
So it blows the play dead rather than giving Lake Norman a free play, which I think is what Kraft thought he had.
I think so.
Five yards later, first down again. Kraft has it knocked away, falls on it, it's squirted out before he could regain possession, and Mallard Creek has it. Or do they?
Number 35,
Oof.
Tyler
Coach Tinsley might want to have another conversation.
forces the fumble.
Yeah, they've ruled that Kraft fell on it and secured possession while he was down that second time.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Lake Norman will keep possession. 128.
So the clock continues to run.
There's the handoff.
Morris.
Well, Moses isn't going to go down without a fight here tonight.
Yeah. Shakes the first tackle, gets to the 20.
So, and I know we'll get to Creek here and talk about what they've got coming up down the road, but thinking about Coach Alfant and that staff that, he's getting ready to have a conversation here in a few minutes that's the hardest conversation as a coach to have, and that's when you got to say goodbye on the field to a group of kids that you spend so much time with and you ask so much from, and that they give you, day after day. And, no coach has this speech prepared. So it's when you see him out here with this team at this game, it's going to be 100% emotion. There's going to be tears. There's going to be hugs.
Morris converts on 3rd and 5. Again, just a competitor through and through.
Yeah, you love to see them continue to play hard.
Brought down by number 24, Larry Stoops.
Goal to go for Lake Norman. Morris.
Yeah, he's going to get in, I think.
Boulders his way up the middle, and he's down inside the 1 yard line.
There it is.
And Mallard Creek gets the first round victory. It was tighter than the score indicates for much of the game. Mavericks take it 34-9 over Lake Norman. They'll advance to the second round, where we haven't seen a score for Watauga, but likely a rematch from last year on the way for the Mavericks.
I think Mallard Creek could be very excited to make the trip up the mountain again this year. But, looking at Creek tonight, this is exactly who they want to be. They want to rough you up, when you have the ball. They want to rough you up when they have the ball.
Yeah.
And that's, as the temperature gets colder here and the wind starts picking up, gets a little tougher to throw the ball. That's the kind of offense, that's the kind of defense that you're going to see championship programs really flex.
An impressive win for the Mavericks. Again, 34-9. They advance to the second round of the 4A state playoffs for Lake Norman. A great season in the books, comes up just short of their ultimate goals, as it's not quite enough on this Friday night. So for Coach Brian Hills, another fun one. Our producer and director, Brady Pugh, the rest of our great Bahakel Sports crew, I'm Darren Vaught. So long from Mallard Creek, 34-9. The Mavericks win in the first.